So last week, we started a discussion on the corporate tax issues, and we mentioned that we are going to be taking the accounting profit of the organization, which is prepared or which is arrived at after taking into consideration the depreciation, the IFRSs. So the financial statements are prepared based on the IFRSs. But then we want to take that out because we need the chargeable income or the taxable profit, which is based on the tax laws. And so we're going to take the accounting profit, and then we are going to be adding back any non-allowable deductions. Then we will less any allowable deductions specifically not deducted already by the entity in arriving at its accounting profit. So basically, we are interested in the chargeable income of the entity, which is going to be equal to the taxable income minus the allowable expenses. Now, we also mentioned that for the purpose of our discussion under the corporate tax liabilities, we are going to be categorizing organizations into three major groups. And so we said we have traditional companies. This represents companies operating outside petroleum and mining as well as free zone. So we are talking about manufacturing, services, agro-processing companies, then the petroleum companies, and then companies operating in the free zone. The reason is because the rules in relation to these companies are always going to be different. So for traditional companies, we said, hey, standard tax rate is going to be 25%. They can carry over losses for 5 years, as we mentioned, and sometimes they are going to be eligible for location and tax holiday incentives. Petroleum mining companies, 35% standard tax rate. They can also carry over losses, as we mentioned, in some cases indefinitely based on the petroleum agreement. Then for the free zone enterprises, we said that primarily these are established to export the things that they are producing. So what is going to be happening is that they're going to enjoy some 10 years tax holidays, and minimum of 70% of their output must be exported. Now, after that 10 years holiday, what will happen is that their export will be taxed at, or the sales arriving from the export will be taxed at 15%, and what they sell on the domestic market will be taxed at 25%. And so we mentioned that for free zone enterprises, they are going to be taxed based on whether we are looking at how much they sold domestically, maximum of 30%, and then externally through exports, minimum of 70%. So then we began to look at the taxable revenues and the various things that we need to understand. We spoke about debt forgiveness. We said that, yes, this is going to be a taxable income. Interest waiver is going to be a taxable income to be taxed at 25%. Remember, we emphasized on the importance of knowing the difference between the corporate tax rate of the entity and how other incomes will be taxed. So if an entity is enjoying a location incentive, then the chargeable income from their operations will be taxed at the location rates or tax rate applicable to them, but then the other income will be taxed at the standard 25%. Then we spoke about bad debt recovered as well. We said the bad debt recovered is a taxable income. It would have to be added in arriving at the chargeable income of the entity and taxed at 25%. Then we spoke about the issue in respect of bad debt itself, and we said specifically, if we have specific bad debt, it can be allowable for tax purposes to be written off. General bad debt, disallowed. Then provision for general bad debt is also disallowed, but provision for specific debt will be allowed for tax purposes. And we share some thoughts also on embezzlement of fund, and that is based on seniority in that case. Then we spoke about dividend income, most importantly, and we said again, it depends on the type of company that we are dealing with. Now, the issue about tax implication of income and loans and others, I emphasize on this that we are looking at it from the perspective of the investee firm, not the investor entity. So who are we buying share from? What is the percentage of shares we are buying? What is the type of industry or sector that the business is in? That is where the focus is, not the investor firm. It is the investee firm status that determines the tax implication of the income or the dividend or the interest that we are dealing with. So we said for traditional companies, 25%. Once you have 25% or more ownership, the dividend is exempted from tax. Below 25%, subject to tax at 8%. Mining companies, irrespective of the percentage of ownership, we're going to be applying the 8% there. Petroleum companies, we said usually that is going to be exempted from tax. And then free zone enterprises also exempted from tax. If we receive dividend from a non-resident entity, the gross amount will be added and taxed at 25%. And if Ghana has a double tax arrangement with a country of origin of the income, then in that case, there will be some tax credit relief on the tax that has been paid in the foreign country. So that was something that we shared our thoughts on very well. Then we came to interest. And here I'm going to be clarifying something here for you. We said that if it is individuals, interest is tax exempted, so that's not a problem. But for companies, it will depend on where the money is coming from. So if it is a resident financial institution that is paying it, then usually there will not be any withholding tax. So whatever money they give us, we are going to be adding it to our chargeable income, and it has to be taxed at 25%. If the interest is coming from a company that is a resident financial institution, they will withhold 8% tax. But again, that is on account, and so we will do the workings with it. For the government bonds, we mentioned last week, or we highlighted that it is exempted from tax. The clarity I want to give there is that that is not always set on stone. There are only a few types of government bonds that will be issued where the government will say, oh, the interest on this bond will not be subject to tax. But usually, interest earned from the government bond will be treated as other income and will be taxed at 25%. So that is a clarity I want to bring here. So it depends on the type of bond in practice. But for the purpose of our examination, 99.9% of the time, if it is interest the entity is receiving from the government of Ghana, it will be added to the chargeable income and taxed at 25%. Any tax that has been withheld will be given as a tax credit to determine the tax payable by the entity. So that is a quick clarity that I want to draw your attention on from what we discussed. Then if we are receiving the interest also from a non-resident company, the same way you deal with a dividend, that's the same way you are going to do that. Then we came to rent income or rental income. We said it will depend. What are we? If we are a real estate company, then what we are getting as a rental income is our revenue. So that will be subject to 7.5 withholding tax on account. But if we are not a real estate company and we are just renting out or leasing out a surplus asset, that's an investment income and will be subject to a final withholding tax. If it is residential, 8%. If it is commercial, 15% as well. Then we wrap it up on the issue in respect of some special tax incentives available, location tax incentive for companies. And then we came to the rookies, young entrepreneurs, very important, right? So we mentioned that when it comes to young entrepreneurs, we mean below 35 years. At the time of the business formation, you are below 35 years and you are going into manufacturing, IT, agro-processing, waste processing, energy, tourism, horticulture, those kind of things. In that case, first 5 years, tax holiday. Year 6 to year 10, you pay a concessory rate, usually based on the location of the plants of the business. And then year 11 onwards, you are going to come back to pay the standard rate of, 25%. So that is young entrepreneurs that we spoke about. Then finally, we came to the expenses aspect. And we said, for an expense to be allowable for tax purposes, it must have three things. Revenue in nature, very important. And then it should be wholly, exclusively, and necessarily. And it should not be specifically disallowed as per the income tax laws. So these are the key issues that we highlighted on the discussion. And still on the expenses aspect, because we are going to get more into that in this session, we said any expense that is domestic in nature or private in nature will be disallowed for tax purposes. Any capital expenditure will be disallowed for tax purposes because it may be capitalized and we will receive capital allowance instead. Depreciation of assets, we said depreciation will not be allowable, but capital allowance will be what we will allow. Taxes paid during the year will be disallowed, and then any expenses that the entity incurred for which the entity will be reimbursed, we said that also must be disallowed for tax purposes. Because if you are incurring an expense but you are going to be reimbursed, why do we let you keep the money or write it off against your income that you have generated? So these are some of the thought process that we went through in the discussion last week and the various principles highlighted when it comes to our discussion on taxation. Certainly, we shared our thoughts on the pro forma of the way you write the analysis. You write out your answers. So if you find this video valuable and you have learned something, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel and follow our pages online everywhere. But most importantly, if you want to get access to our full courses to study directly under my mentorship for the examination, then you can head on to our website, NhyiraPremium.com, to enroll in our courses, or you can send us a message on WhatsApp or call 050-114-9296 so that you can complete your enrollment and start studying under my mentorship to join our community so I can hold your hand, provide you with the blueprint that you need so you can go to the exam hall, write the exam with confidence, and most importantly, pass the examination. Thank you, and you can check the page for more videos, and I'll catch you on the next one.